Hi, this is John Colo at DiscountJuicers.com. Today we have another exciting episode for you. In this episode, we're going to answer once and for all the best juicer to juice fruits. I know a lot of you guys want to juice fruits. Me personally, I'm not a big fan of juicing fruits. I'd rather eat the fruits whole. That being said, I do juice some fruits when the quality is not good to actually get it so at least I could enjoy the fruits because they're just not sweet because they're picked underripe, yada, yada, yada. But in any case, I know some of you guys want to do a fruit juice cleanse or, you know, just drink a lot of fruit juice or maybe get your kids off soda and juice fruits. You know, I'm not going to debate whether they're healthy or not. You know, I think fruit juice can be healthier than what most people are eating. That being said, I would rather encourage you guys to juice your leafy greens and other vegetables, which I personally believe to be more beneficial than fruits. That being said, as the #1 juicer expert in the world, I also know the best juicer for juicing fruits. And that's what I'll be showing you guys in this video. I'll be demonstrating the best juicer in the world for fruits and also the worst juicer in the world for fruits, in my personal opinion. Plus, I'm going to explain to you guys why the machines that I choose are the best and the worst, for that matter. So up until now, and this is being filmed 2021, I couldn't even make this video a year ago because I was not aware of this technique that I'll be sharing with you guys. Is when somebody emailed me and said, John, what's the best juicer for fruits? I would honestly tell them, you guys want to get a juice press. This is a juice press. This is actually from Italy. I had to actually order this from Italy to get it. I mean, they make some in China and whatnot. But basically, this is the old school. I mean, think about the times of the Romans. They made wine. How did they make wine? Well, they had basically just like machinery to basically crush and squeeze the grapes. Or, you know, old school, they made apple juice in those old apple mills. I'm sure you maybe visited one in your travels. I know I have, and they're pretty cool. Basically, you just smushed out the produce mechanically. And that's what this thing does. Basically, this has a bowl here. All it is a bowl, and then it has a cylinder in here that has holes in it. So you're going to basically put your mashed up fruit, very important. You can't put whole apples in here. You got to mash it up first, grind it up. So there's a grinding step involved, not shown. Then you got to put your mashed up apples in here. And then you put it underneath here, and then you basically wring this down. And this arm basically crushes the juice out. The juice comes out the holes, which then comes out the little spout there. So that's the best way to juice the fruits, because the challenge is electric operated juicers, whether a high-speed juicer or even a slow juicer, can have problems with the texture of fruits. Fruits are often a very soft texture that will clog and jam juicers, because most juicers are specifically designed to juice vegetables and not fruits. Of course, some juicers will juice fruits better than others, like I found the vertical slow juicers to juice fruits the best. That being said, you always need to make sure you select hard and firm fruits. That being said, we're talking about the best and the worst in this episode. And while you could get a fruit press, I would say don't waste your money. There is better technology than a fruit press in 2021 to juice your fruits. So now I want to get into the best and worst way to juice your fruits. We'll start off with the worst way because that's easier. The worst way is with a high-speed juicer, right? This is the Breville Juice Fountain Cold, and although it is called cold and it doesn't necessarily heat your juice, it does do something else that I'm not a fan of. It oxygenates your juice, or adds a lot of oxygen into the juice, right? And this is a big challenge. I've seen scientific published studies that show, you know, a high-speed juice, when they juice grapes, you know, the laboratory animals did not get the health benefit that they did when they juiced the same grapes in a slow juicer that was more effective at grinding up the seeds and also the skins and getting the nutrients out of those areas of the grape, right? In addition, these juicers tend to be very wasteful when juicing fruits. It'll leave your pulp very wet. Now, of course, the pro to this style machine is it is fast. If you're gonna, you know, not juice, or you juice using a fast juicer, I would rather have you guys juice with a fast juicer than no juicer at all. I'd rather have you guys juice some fruits than pop open a Coke or a Pepsi Free or a Tab or whatever soft drinks you guys are drinking. But that being said, I'm here to show you guys the best way to do things as possible. You know, I've been juicing now for 26 years straight. Since then, I've pounded more pounds of produce through my juicers, because I own many, than most people on the planet, for sure. And I have a lot of experience. Plus, I'm just a gadget geek, and I like to know the best way to do things, and I like to share that with you guys so that you guys don't have to go through the school of hard knocks, right? Just watch my videos. I'm going to tell you guys what's up, and, you know, you guys could do it, right? So you guys could get the best results. So the main issue with this machine is limited blade contact time. The fruit's kicked out rather quickly, and it oxygenates anything being juiced, so it adds air, oxygen into the mixture. Because of the grinding is not sufficient, and because of the extra air, that reduces the overall health benefits of the juice. Because you don't have those antioxidant compounds that are basically being burned off in the oxidation process of all the oxygen being added. Plus, you're not getting the polyphenols and different phytonutrients that are in the skins and the seeds, such as pycnogenols and things like resveratrol and all these kind of compounds, right? So that's why the high-speed juicers are bad. So you might think, John, why do you got a blender on there? I thought blenders do the same thing as juicers. Well, yes, blenders, unlike juicers, do a much better job at grinding because it does the best job at grinding up any produce item, provided you have enough liquid or water content in there. It's not going to do too good of a job on grinding things that are completely dry, because it's going to get stuck and it's not going to have blade contact time. So that it solves that issue. But the other issue it does not solve is that standard traditional blenders also oxygenate or add lots of oxygen, dissolved oxygen, into whatever you're blending. Oxygen, in my opinion, is the enemy to juicing and phytonutrients, if of course that's what's important to you. Some people are still drinking Coca-Cola and they could probably care less about phytonutrients, but knowing what I know about health and studying science and all these things, the phytonutrients are one of the top properties of the foods that we really want to preserve and get into us. That's why I'm so passionate about the equipment, right? So standard blenders, you could put stuff to make a smoothie up to here, and then you blend it all up, and then when you're done, the smoothie level has raised, a half inch, maybe even an inch, depending on what you're doing. That's because you're basically putting oxygen, you're pumping in oxygen into the mixture every revolution of the blade. If you look down the middle of the blender as you're running it, there's a funnel cone. That's a vortex. It's like a tornado. Tornadoes are terrible. They rip up houses and destroy people's lives and kill people. Well, the tornado is in your blender is also destroying those nutrients, especially the phytopolyphenols and antioxidant compounds that are going to provide you with the health benefits. So up until now, I would never recommend blending using your blender, traditional blender, to juice, because oxygen is the enemy. And that's why, frankly, I don't like the high-speed juicers either. That being said, this is 2021, and now there are vacuum blenders on the market. What does a vacuum blender do? The vacuum blender is basically a traditional blender, but it has a very special feature. It includes a vacuum pump. This vacuum pump has been designed to suck out all the excess oxygen out of the chamber before you blend. Thereby, when you blend with that funnel cone, you're not bombarding all the cell walls that are being broken open to make the nutrients available with oxygen that then lowers them. There's scientific studies that show 2 to 3 times more, antioxidants and polyphenol available for you if you are vacuum blending. Plus, under vacuum blending, to make juice, you will get the highest yield, even compared to a $2,300, cold press juicer. Link down below to the video I made juicing celery in this very blender, comparing it against a $2,300 juicer, and the yields were pretty close. So oxygen is the enemy, and you want to use your blender to juice without the oxygen. That's the best way possible, in my opinion. Now, I know you're thinking, John, blenders, if I put grapes in the blender, I'm going to have a blended smoothie because it's going to have all that fiber, and I'm going to go on a juice cleanse, and I don't want all that fiber on my juice cleanse. I want all the nutrients to just go right into my body. Maybe you're an athlete and you want that sugar hit from all the sugar by removing some of the fiber. You're still going to keep some of the fiber when juicing, of course. You're going to keep the soluble fiber that dissolves in the liquid, like pectin. That's where the trick comes in. The trick comes in with Blendtec. Tom Dixon created this Blendtec nut milk bag. It's also good for juicing. This is the best nut milk bag I have found, and also Tom Dixon is responsible for introducing me to the concept of vacuum juicing. Vacuum juicing is the most powerful way to juice in the world to get the highest yield and the highest nutritional quality. Plus also, if you want to store your juices after they're made, because it retains more antioxidants in the juice when you're making it, they are there later to help the juice stay fresher longer. So I hope you guys followed that. So you will need the vacuum blender, such as the Dynapro and the Blendtec nut milk bag, linked down below to both these items. That's what I'm going to show you guys today and why they are better. Today we'll be juicing some black organic grapes. I do encourage you guys, if you guys are going to juice grapes, try to select the black ones. These happen to be seedless, but try to get the seeded grapes. They're going to be a lot more nutritious than the seedless ones, just for the sheer fact that the grape seeds have lots of nutrients in there, and especially if you're going to be vacuum blending them, you're going to get a good portion of the pycnogenol and antioxidants and polyphenols and all the different nutrients in the seeds as well as the skin. And we're going to also be juicing pineapple. Pineapple is great because it is rich in bromelain. It's a protein dissolving enzyme, also rich in vitamin C, and it's going to help balance out the grapes. Once again, if you guys want to juice these in a standard traditional juicer, you got to make sure you pick them hard and firm. As a fruit connoisseur myself and a fruit eater, hard and firm produce generally is not ripe. So that's why in this recipe, when you're using a blender, you can use as ripe a produce as you want, and the juice will taste sweeter and even have more nutrition in it. But if you're going to use a juicer or other equipment, a mechanical juicer, even a slow juicer, you got to pick the produce as firm as possible, or it's simply not going to work. Alright, so let's get into this video. We're going to go ahead and weigh out even amounts of grapes and pineapple, and we're going to juice them in both machines and show you guys the results. Alright, so first we're going to juice in the Breville. The Breville has 2 speeds, and to juice the fruits, you want to juice in the low speed. So we're going to go ahead and turn the machine on low speed setting. And we're just going to go ahead and put in our pineapple. You guys can see the juice literally blow out of the machine, like quite oxygenated. Pineapple is working quite well. You don't want to push it too fast. You will reduce your yield. And now we got all the grapes. We're probably just going to put a handful of grapes in at a time. And you better hold your hand over the spout, otherwise they're going to come back at you. Last handful of grapes going into the Breville juicer. Basically has worked uneventfully. But yeah, as you guys can see, we got lots of foam in there. And that's pretty much it. I mean, literally the air force blows the juice out because this spout is a bit higher than the bottom. So it's not even, fed out by gravity. In addition, the Breville juicer was loud when juicing. What we'll do next is we're going to go ahead and juice in the Dynapro. It's going to be a lot more simple, a lot easier, and a lot cleaner. Literally, we're going to go ahead and open up the blender. We're going to go ahead and put our pineapple to this side. We're going to go first, dump in all the grapes. As you guys can see, we got lots of grapes going in. I mean, it fills up the blender like 3/4 of the way. We could then go ahead and maybe put our pineapple, and we'll just break the pineapple in half. Each big piece. Then we're going to go ahead and put the top on. And now we're just going to go ahead and put that vacuum pump. This is the secret, the magic to the vacuum blender. You got to make sure you do this step. Tell you the truth, before I could even buy a vacuum blender in the United States, I created my own. So if you look up on YouTube, NutriBullet hack, you can see how I turned a NutriBullet into a vacuum blender, because once I understood that technology and I tried a vacuum blended smoothie for the first time in my life, I was like, wow, I need to do this for the rest of my life. I've been blending wrong all these years. And I know that's something a lot of you guys don't want to admit. You don't want to admit that Vitamix that you've owned for 20 years or however long, or the blender you've been using, has not been the best way to process your foods, because now there's new technology. I mean, it's like that when the Tesla automobile came out and now they're breaking speed records, probably the world's fastest production car, right? And people still don't want to believe it. I mean, some people are adopting it and are believing it, but some people still want to stick with gasoline cars as the way. And I see electrification as the future. Personally, likewise, I also see vacuum blenders as the future for blending and processing your food, if, of course, nutrients are important to you. Now, of course, if you're juicing or if you're blending like margaritas all the time, don't waste your money buying a vacuum blender. You're not going to preserve any more nutrients in the alcohol. I think they're already extracted out. All right, so once we got a full vacuum on this, the vacuum pump will shut off automatically, because this vacuum pump detects when it has maximum vacuum achieved. Then all you're going to do is you're going to come down here and hit the pulse button once. This pulse button once will basically run the machine for automatic pulse it on and off automatically, so that you don't have to do anything else. So it pulsed, turned off, pulsed and turned off. Now once you got it blended up pretty good, you can just go ahead and turn the machine on. And what you want to do is you want to run the machine long enough to grind up all the skins as much as possible, but not overrun the machine. While this is still under vacuum, we want to also, minimize the run time. The less blade hits on the produce, even under vacuum, the better. So as you guys can see, literally in no time whatsoever, we blended that mixture up into a nice smoothie. Now, a smoothie is not a juice, because a smoothie does contain all the original fiber that was in the produce that we put in. What we're going to do now is we're going to use that Blendtec nut milk bag that we have on a 2-quart Anchor Hawking glass measuring bowl, and we're just going to go ahead and pour that mixture in there. Look at that nice, deep, rich, purple mixture, grapes and pineapple. Could use a spatula to get the rest of this stuff out, but we're just going to tap it down a little bit today. I'm not necessarily doing a yield test, although I did weigh out the starting produce, which was exactly even. The next step is we're going to go ahead and take up this bag, and now you're just going to milk this out. Now, in general, I was never really a fan of nut milk bags, because I always thought they were a pain to clean. But honestly, guys, this Blendtec nut milk bag or juicing bag is on the next level. This is the easiest nut milk bag to clean. It doesn't have any strings, or string channels where pulp could get stuck, where it makes it hard to clean. This does not have any square corners. It only has rounded corners. It is 100% reinforced. And the other thing that I really like is it has the right porosity size, or the right pore size, so that it doesn't let big chunks of pulp into your juice that you're squeezing out. But more importantly, it cleans easily. I mean, that's the amazing thing. I literally take this out to my backyard. I set up a kitchen sink out there, and I use the garden hose on the high pressure spray and literally spray this clean inside outside a few times without any scrubbing, and it's totally clean. I leave it in the sun to dry, and it just works beautifully. It's just super easy to clean. And guess what? All the water I use to clean this then gets to water my plants, my fruit trees, and my vegetables. So as you guys can see, this is working really uneventfully. You just got to sit there and take your time. The other thing is you're going to get a little bit of hand workout when you're doing this. You're going to increase your grip strength. Might be important for some of you guys if you guys are a rock climber, but even if you're not, it's important to increase your grip strength at all ages in life. This is not hard. You don't have to press it hard. The blender has done all the hard work for you, so that you don't have to, because it grinded up all the produce, and you're really just like literally pressing this out, to get the juice out. Now, this also would be an excellent way to make a fruit-based leafy green juice. So, for example, I could have shoved in a whole bunch of kale at the top of this mixture, and I could have had a grape, pineapple, kale juice, or you could do, cut up apples and then kale at the top, or you could do cut up apples and cucumbers and then kale at the top. Make sure you cut the kale up into smaller pieces or it will not blend up properly. But this is also my recommendation as the best juicer to retain the most nutrients to get the driest pulp. If you want to juice, fruit-based or, watery vegetables would be things like tomatoes and cucumbers that are, or even peppers. I did straight pepper juice using this method, and it was amazing. I think I even saved time over using a slow juicer, because a slow juicer, you got to put one piece of produce in at a time. With this, I literally pressed out, my max ever pressed out when juicing fruits was about 1,500 milliliters. Or that's, maybe about 3/4 of a gallon in one pressing for fruits. Of course, if you're juicing, if you're doing vegetables in this manner, you won't achieve as high of a yield in one pressing. And that's with the Tribez Dynapro, which is optimized for juicing under vacuum because it has a nice wide, fat bottom on the carafe. Plus, it also has a really handy-dandy, automatic pulse feature so that you don't have to pulse it. Once we get a lot of the juice pressed out, we're then going to go ahead and squeeze this more to even get more juice out. Alright, so I'm just about done pressing out all the juice. We got lots of juice there. I don't know, maybe like almost 1,200 milliliters or something like that. What I want to do next for you guys is compare the pulp out of each extraction method, right? This method with the vacuum blender and hand squeezing will achieve, pulp dryness, depending on the ingredient or the produce item using, pretty much similar to like a $2,300 press, in my opinion, and maybe even better in some cases, because this does a much better job at the grinding aspect than even a $2,300 juicer could do. You can't beat blenders in terms of how well they grind. We're just going to go ahead and try to kick out as much pulp out of here as possible. I just usually flick the bag to get it to release. But look at that. Actually, we could probably eat that. It'd probably still be really healthy for us to eat, because it is just really dark purple. That's a resveratrol and probably anthocyanins and other stuff in there. But you guys can see this stuff is completely dry. I could take it in my fingers. I can't squeeze any juice out of it. We got the juice out already. That's pretty crazy. Next, what we want to do is we're going to go ahead and take another bowl here. And I want to show you guys the pulp left in the Breville. Alright, there's lots of pulp left in here. Oh, let's not mention, what do you want to clean? You want to clean a blender carafe and a nut milk bag that you literally spray off with high pressure water. If you don't have a garden hose to do that, you could just use your sink on the spray setting. That'll also work. Might take a little bit longer. But now we're going to go ahead and get out all this pulp, and this is a pain to clean compared to the vacuum blending technique. That's just some of the pulp off there. And now we got all the pulp in the container. And watch this as it comes out, man. Like, that's liquid. You guys see that? That's liquid. That's juice that didn't come out the juicer. It went in with the pulp. Oh my gosh. That's terrible. This looks like slop. I mean, it's seriously, like, a lot of this stuff seriously is not, how can we have so much volume there? And I mean, there's literally still pieces of pineapple that did not get juiced. I mean, and this is liquid. I don't know if you guys can see the liquid on there. But you guys see the comparison between this, how much you're wasting literally by using a high-speed juicer, and this? That's completely insane. Yeah, that's actually completely insane. That bothers me a lot, man. People waste so much produce by using a high-speed juicer when they, in fact, should be using a vacuum blender to juice to get higher nutrient quality, higher yields, and generating less waste. I know what you guys are thinking. You guys are thinking, John, I'm one of those frugal people, man. I don't like to waste anything. Well, man, if you've been using a high-speed juicer, let me tell you, you guys have been wasting produce. Even a slow juicer will not extract as much yield as a vacuum blender would. You know, despite this being a sizable investment, it's an investment in the thing that is most valuable to you, that hopefully is more important to you than your money, which is your health. I almost lost my health, I almost lost my life when I was younger, and that's why I'm really on this kick to maximize and do things the best way possible to save the most money, but also create the most nutrient-rich juices that I could get into me, because I don't want to drink wine for my resveratrol. I want to juice grapes, and even wines are not made under vacuum, maybe they should be, to preserve more of those beneficial polyphenol compounds. So what we're going to do next is we're going to go ahead and take out that Breville juice that went into this pitcher. And I want you guys to look at that. You guys see that? You guys see all the foam? Yes, we did make a little bit of foam with the vacuum blending, mainly because under vacuum it's not going to create the foam, but when I'm squeezing it out, a little bit of air is being introduced into the mix, which is, you know, basically a minimum amount of air. I mean, if you want to be more careful, you could probably squeeze it with less air, but look at this. We got some nice juice coming out there, but then now we got all the big foam pulp layer coming out. And this is a pretty thick juice there. Let's go ahead and do a close-up on the camera for you guys so you guys could see the difference in yield. There's a comparison. You guys could clearly see which juicer made more juice. Over on the Breville first, if we just look at the dark part of the juice, it looks like we made about 1.5 cups. The rest is like a foam layer. So, I mean, I don't know, you know, the foam layer is basically just aerated juice. Over time it may settle down and make a little bit more juice, but you guys could see literally lots of foam created. I don't know if you want to even say the Breville maybe made 2 cups of juice if you're lucky, if that, but to me that's like foam. Foam does not taste good. Meanwhile, over on the Tribest Dynapro vacuum juicing, look at that. I mean, we're up to basically almost 5 cups of juice. I guess the 5 cup mark is there, so it's like 4.75 cups of juice versus maybe 1.5 cups of juice on this side. So as you guys just saw, vacuum blending yielded literally 3 times more juice than a high-speed juicer. That's why this is the worst way to juice your fruits. This is the best way. 3 times more just in terms of yield, a lot less foam, more importantly, more phytonutrients and antioxidants. Next is the taste test. Taste is very important. It is my personal opinion that when you use a high speed and introduce a lot of air into the juices, you oxidize some of the nutrients, which lowers them. It also creates a maybe more bitter off flavor based on my experience and some of the feedback I've gotten from others. So first I'm going to try the vacuum blended juice as to not mess up my taste buds with a juice that is more aerated. This is a nice clean juice. It's going to store easily, this juice, stored under vacuum, which I have videos on how to do that in the Dynapro. Link down below to the Dynapro video where I show this unboxing video. This could easily store a week in the fridge under vacuum. Wow. Man, that's sweeter than any kind of grape juice I've ever had in the store, because that's also usually from reconstituted grapes. Man, to me that is sickly sweet. I'm going to have to dilute that with some cucumber juice or something. Tastes super good. Next we're going to go ahead and try the Breville juice. We got some juice off the bottom. Luckily we didn't get the foam. I hate drinking foam. Try this. It tastes pretty similar. I get some like hint of tannin or bitterness at the end, whereas on the vacuum juice I didn't get that. It's weird. It's like in your mouth. Maybe astringent. Let's try this juice. Wow. Big difference in the flavor. I gotta say, this one is sweeter. This one has some bitter stuff going on. I'm not exactly sure what. Nonetheless, they're both amazing. And so what did we learn in this episode? We learned the worst way to juice, and the worst way to juice is because it adds excess oxygen. And that's what we want to avoid. Also the short blade contact time and the ineffective grinding, where it doesn't grind up. The pulp is good. leaves the pulp very wet and a lot of nutrients that did not get extracted. Meanwhile, on the other side, what do we learn? Vacuum blending is the best way to juice your fruits and other watery vegetables, and then extract it with a nut milk bag that's very easy to clean. You're gonna get the highest yield. You're gonna save the most money. You're not gonna drink extra foam that could cause extra bloating and gas and belching. You're gonna retain more phytonutrients so that you guys can get the health benefits from the fruits and vegetables that you deserve when you juice them by taking this time to invest in the most important thing you own, which is your health. If you guys want to support me in my work and allow me to continue to make these videos for you guys comparing the different methods of juicing, because I tell it like it is. I sell all the major brand juicers. I'm not ever going to say this one's the best or that one's the best. Depending on the situation, you know, this one or that one might be better for you, but I will also tell it to you guys like it is and show you guys what I do in my life. In most cases, not all cases, you know, I will now juice under vacuum if it's a watery vegetable juice or, you know, fruit juice that I'm making, because it is clearly superior. And I feel also, if I'm doing large volumes, depending on what it is, it can also save me some time. Of course, there's some recipes that I will not make in a vacuum blender to juice because they will not work good. But if you guys enjoy my episodes and want me to continue to do more, I would encourage you guys to support me and my work by making your purchase at discountjuicers.com. If you guys are interested in buying the Dynapro vacuum blender, link is right down below. First comment pinned up to the top to buy the Dynapro vacuum blender. I also have a link so that you guys can purchase the best nut milk bag that I've determined, which is the Blendtec nut milk bag. Blendtec does give me a commission, a little commission for every Blendtec nut milk bag that they sell because of my link, if you use the link down below, and I appreciate that. And right now they have a 2-for-1 offer. I don't know when that's going to disappear, so make sure you get them now before that offer expires. These guys do last a long time. Just take care of them. You know, I haven't had to really replace one yet. If you guys enjoyed this episode and liked it, please be sure to give this video a thumbs up. Also, more importantly, please be sure to share this video with somebody else that is using a high-speed juicer to juice their fruits, or even a slow juicer to juice their fruits. There is now a better way. I want everybody in America to own some kind of vacuum blender and the Blendtec nut milk bag so that you guys could now vacuum juice your produce to get higher yields, to save food, and to get more nutrition into your body so that you guys can get the health benefits you guys deserve. Also, be sure to click that subscribe button right down below so you don't miss out on my new and upcoming episodes that come out every 5 to 7 days. You don't know where I'll show up or what you'll be learning on my YouTube channel. Make sure you click the little bell to get notified as my new videos come out. And finally, be sure to check my past episodes. My past episodes are a wealth of knowledge. Over 500 episodes at this time on this YouTube channel dedicated to comparing and contrasting all the different major brand juicers so that you guys can find the right juicer for you and derive the benefits of eating more fresh fruits and vegetables in their juice form. So with that, my name is John Kohler with DiscountJuicers.com. Be sure to visit DiscountJuicers.com/YouTube for special promotional offers for our YouTube visitors.